In 2 Corinthians chapter 8, we get to read about the churches in the area of Macedonia. Though they lived in a very poor part of the world, they were exceedingly generous in what they gave for the ministry of their local churches. And we find the secret of how they were able to be so generous while they were still so poor, and it's in verse 5. They did even more than we had hoped, for their first action was to give themselves first to the Lord and to us, just as God wanted them to do. See, it's when people give themselves to God first, then it's easy for the wallet to follow. And I've been hearing that around Church on the Hill, that in the months leading up to today, people have been giving themselves to God, and they are ready to be all in. They're declaring that, and they're living that. I have 6 D words that are going to help us in getting ready for Commitment Sunday on May 18th. The first D word is I want you to deliberate with God about how you are going to be able to be generous because you've given yourself first to God and then to the church's ministries and the financial need. Deliberate with God and talk to Him. What is it God wants to be doing in your life, and what is it God wants you to be doing in the life of His church? The second D is to discover God's purposes for your church and for yourself. And I would say that we've already discovered the purpose for God. We know that we're going to eliminate the deficit on the children's wing. We know that we're going to purchase the commons so that this youth center that's behind me here stays permanently ours. So that the Compassionate Ministry Center gets to move into big, expanded space to give dignity to those who are coming to take use of the services that we provide here as a church. So I want you to discover God's purpose for you. Now that you know what God's doing in the life of your church, what's He want to do in you? The third D is to discuss what you are learning with others. As God speaks to you, please speak to your spouse. Speak to your friends here at church. Let's make this a topic of conversation. Let's discuss what it is God's doing in our lives. Number 4 is to define a sense of sacrifice in your life. This is key. If we just want to give out of convenience, it's not the same as giving from a point of sacrifice. Define what sacrifice is for you. For my wife and I, I'll just tell you, we've put our house on the market. We love where we live, but we're willing to downsize, live in a less expensive house, and the difference in that funds will allow us to give to the church like we otherwise could never possibly give in this all-in project. Number 5 is to determine your potential for giving. You can look at your income stream, you can look at your assets, you can look at potential additional income streams. I don't know what you would do, but you can look and you can determine what it is you would be able to give to your church for the next 30 months. And then the last D is to decide on a personal giving plan. You might give weekly, monthly, quarterly, annually, a one-time gift. You might get rid of some assets and be able to give that cash infusion to the project that your church is a part of. When you deliberate, discover, discuss, define, determine, and decide, we're all going to be able to follow through. And that's what we need. 30 months of going all in our involvement, all in on our investment, so that we can see God's influence increase here in Yamhill County. He's up to something. What are you up to?